Shalom, Shalom, Akim, your brother Raza'Allah from GMS London Camp. First and foremost, I want to give a praises and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders, the great most on, Brakadam, and blessings unto the hopeful and sincere elect. Just want to do a quick upload. More proof that Rome 2.0, aka is a Babylon the Great, aka America. And you got a city in New York State called actual Rome. You know, proving that this ancient kingdom is still revived and living today through the so-called Renaissance period, man. Because America came out, Rome 2.0 was revived through the Renaissance period out of the bottomless pit, which we're going to read in Revelations, the 7th chapter, which is ancient Europe, man. And then through the 7 heads, which we're going to break that down as well, the 8th head that was born out of the 7 was America, is aka Rome 2.0. And their philosophies and their vain philosophies, a strong drink, should you say, their wine is what's been reigning throughout the 4 winds of the earth. Their judicial system, their the law, the judicial system, as I just said, the philosophies, the language, the jargon, is of ancient Rome, man. The lingua franca, so to speak, is of ancient Rome. And that's the system that's running today through the beast system, through NATO and the EU, which is also known as the scarlet-colored beast, the red dragon, headed by the Edomites, the so-called white man, the red horse, which represents who? The Edomites today, so-called white man, as I just said, because the Hebrew word for Esau, or Edom, should I say, because that's when the name was changed from Esau to Edom, is Adawam in the Hebrew, which means red. So they're the red people of the earth. That's why the dragon was, scarlet colored, or the beast was scarlet colored, and the dragon's red. And they represent the red horse also. So Rome 2.0, man, is America, because you got the city state in New York City. It says Rome is a city in Oneida County in New York, US. It says located in the central part of the state. The population is 32,000 from the 2020 census. So this just shows you that, Esau, Edom, these so-called Babylonians today, Babylon the Great represents Rome all over again, man. The philosophies, as I said, and the way of life, they call it democracy, but we call it demonocracy, man. And that strong drink. And what is it famous for? Well, it says it was a famous copper city, known for, during the Industrial Revolution, Rome gained a reputation as a copper city. And as of late, during like 1999 especially, you used to have the Woodstock festivals that they used to hold over there in that surrounding area of Rome. They used to hold them Bacchus festivals, they called it Woodstock, which that turned out to an all-out riot in 1999, and that ended that whole Bacchus festivity of witchcraft, basically, because all them Bacchus and carnival festivals goes back to ancient Rome anyway, man. The pagan worship of ancient Rome. That's why you had a whole bunch of people over there acting like wild animals, destroying shit at the end, which brought that shit to its light end. So this is just more proof that this kingdom known as America, aka Babylon the Great, headed by run by the Edomites, so-called white man, follows the same philosophies of ancient Rome. Those are the same ancient Romans back then. They just call themselves American whites today, so-called Europeans, white people and all that. But really, they were the ancient Romans, ruling back then 2,000 years ago, and the same people ruling now. Same Caesars that was ruling back then and in reincarnation are ruling now, like you had Nero back then on 64 AD, the time of the burning of ancient Rome, and then when he blamed it on the Israelites, in reincarnation, brothers not have analyzed that that's DJ Trump in the reincarnation, man. So on and so forth, man. You got Hunter Biden and his freakazoid self. He could be Caesar, Caligula Caesar, coming back in reincarnation, because he was a known freak back in ancient Rome, man, doing the kind of heinous acts. Well, that could be Joe Biden, who knows, man. But those same leaders that was back then are here now, or have lived in this empire that's ruling now, So this is Rome 2.0. most definitely. And Esau's, stamped that approval by even calling one of these cities Rome in New York City. So, as they say, the proof's in the pudding, right? Anyway, we're going to go straight to the scriptures. I'm not going to read the whole chapter, just a few verses, and then close out with Revelation 17 and 2. It says, I'll start from 1. It says, and there came one of the 7 angels, which the seventh had the 7 vials, and taught to me, saying, come hither, I will shew thee the judgment of the great whore, which represents who? America, that sitteth upon many waters. That represents America, man. That's why they're going around doing the bully tactics that they're doing. That's why you had Nancy Pelosi go over to Taiwan, even ignoring China's warnings of over intruding and going over to Taiwan to make meddle and make business with them. They broke that that agreement and went over there anyway. That shows you that America think of themselves very highly in the sight of the other nations. They're the ones that sit upon many waters, which represents these other nations. It says, with whom the kings of the earth have committed fornication. Yeah, that's that Babylonian juice. It says, and the inhabitants of the earth have made drunk with the wine of her fornication. Yeah, they've all had dealings with this whore known as America, aka Babylon the Great, aka Rome 2.0. And what is a whore known for? Spreading her viral diseases around. So all these other nations that ended up with the STI from their dealings of dealing with America. And that's why everyone's trying to get away from America and that American debt, that debt note called the petrodollar. That's why you had, as of recent, you had Russia and who was it? Russia and was it China? Saying they was going to come up with their own monetary system, their own world reserve currency, man, to get rid of the petrodollar. Because why? Because that filthy fornication of dealing with America over the years has ended up having them being infected with that debt, that STI, man, that financial STI, that's spreading worldwide. So everyone's trying to get away from America right now. No one's seen the benefits of dealing with that whore anymore, because he's been used and abused. So let me jump down. Verse 4, and it says, and a woman that was arrayed in purple and scarlet color, which represents America once again, and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls, having a golden cup in her hand, full of abominations and filthiness of a fornication, which, as I said, that represents America, and they're once being them so decadent and sitting on top of the world, so to speak. And now, America's dwindling, man. Their power's withering away, and the other nations can see it, man. So the only estimation left, the only thing left for America to do is to go to war. That final power struggle, man, to go to war, man, to fight for them to stay on the top, because these other nations see America's wounded, and this time Babylon's not going to be healed, man. It's going to go into perdition by way of nuclear war. And it says, and upon her forehead was the name written, Mystery Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots and abominations of the earth. Yeah, the mistress of witchcraft, like it tells you in the book of Nahum. That's what America's known for, man. That's why everyone's wandering and wandering after the beast, so to speak, because of that witchcraft. It says verse 6. It says, and I saw the woman drunken with the blood of the saints, which represents who? The Israelites, so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. And says, in the blood of the martyrs of Yahushua. Says, and when I saw her, I wondered with great admiration. Which, the apostle was, as apostles will tell you, that was John basically wondering after admiring the, the great whore, which, the angel wasn't too pleased, and basically cursed him out for it, because he was just looking at it as a actual woman, but it really represented the empire, man, this Edomite empire. Verse 7, it says, and the angel said unto me, wherefore didst thou marvel? So they're saying, why are you marveling at this whore? Because he saw an actual woman, but it was a representation of an evil empire, man, that's ruling upon the earth today, known as the Edomites, through America, aka Rome 2.0. I will tell thee the mystery of the woman and of the beast that carrieth her, says, with which have the 7 heads and 10 horns. And the beast that thou sawest, was and is not, which is who? That's the ancient pagan Roman Empire, that fell over 1,000 years ago, but reascended out of where? Out of Europe during the Renaissance period, man. As I'm going to carry on reading, it says, and shall ascend out of the bottomless pit, which is where? Europe, during the Renaissance period. That's how Rome 2.0 was birthed into reincarnation. It says, and go into perdition, which is AKA what? America. Because America was made, through Great Britain, and it was this 8th head that came out of the 7, which we're going to read, but it was made to go into perdition. It was made to be destroyed. That's its final destination, man. So the end of the day, Rome 2.0 is gonna fall again. Rome's gonna fall again. This time it's not gonna be revived. It says, and they that dwell on the earth shall wonder, whose names are not written in the book of life, which is the 2/3 from the foundation of the world. It says, when they behold the beast that was and is not and yet is, because it fell and then it got revived again. Rome 2.0 through who? NATO and the EU and ultimately America, the whore that sitteth upon many waters, man. And it says, and here is the mind which have wisdom, the 7 heads and 7 mountains on which the woman sitteth. Verse 10, it says, and there are 7 kings, 5 that are fallen. Which the 5 that are fallen is who? Greece, Spain, the French, German minor, German major, and then you had who? Rome, which is the 6th, which was ruling at that time, during the time of Apostle John, which he was on the Isle of Patmos, serving a prison sentence, and he was there until his last day, and where he got all these prophecies and dark sayings, and he put them and wrote them in a book known as the Book of Apocalypse or Revelation, which we have today. So that was the one that is, which was ancient Rome, and the other which is yet to come, which is who? Great Britain, the Great Britannia, the British Empire and all that. That was yet to come. And it says, when he cometh, he must continue a short space. And so that was the setup, the European conglomerates back then, and so and that's how the 8th was born, through who? Great Britain. So verse 11, and the beast that was and is not, even is the 8th, even he is the 8th. Says, and the beast that was, ancient Rome, and is not, even he is the 8th. So Rome 2.0 was revived through that 7, but they call it America today. Rome 2.0, aka Babylon the Great. It was revived, man. That was the same kingdom that fell, and it was revived again through Great Britain, through Europe. So that's the 8th head that came out of the 7. It says, and is of the 7 and goeth into perdition. So once again, it's telling you that Rome 2.0 is destined for destruction, and that's America. They're going into perdition, man. Verse 12, it says, and the 10 horns which thou sawest are 10 kings, which represents, the European counterparts, European nations, which have received no kingdom as of yet, but receive power as kings 1 hour with the beast, which goes into the European Union, man. The EU. Started off with 10, and then it added up to over 20 something now. And they keep trying to add new members and all that. So that's that whole European Edomite empire setup, man, of ancient Rome, and it was revived through Europe, the Renaissance period. And then they call it as Rome 2.0, aka Babylon the Great, aka America. So that's why they got city-states over there in New York City called Rome. There's no coinky-dink in the scriptures, man. That's there because modern-day America is Rome all over again. They follow the same so-called constitution, so-called rhetoric and philosophies of the ancient kingdoms, man. And they worship the same ancient deities as well. That's why they had Bacchus and Woodstock festivals, which is basically paying homage to all their ancient sun worship and deities that they worship in ancient Rome. Same wickedness that they was doing back then, festivities. Committing fornication, orgies, and all this adulterous acts that they was doing back then. That's what they was doing that Woodstock shit, man. It turned into a damn riot. So it's all witchcraft anyway. And it's all gonna be destroyed. Verse 13, it says, these have one mind, and shall give their power and strength unto the beast. Yeah, so that's Rome 2.0, man. The New World Order, one world system that they're trying to set up. These have one mind and shall give their power and strength unto the beast. And Esau is trying to accomplish that New World Order right now. He's at the end of that. So we jump down. Verse 16. Verse 15, it says, and he saith unto me, the waters which thou sawest, where the horse sitteth, which is America, are peoples and multitudes and nations and tongues, as I said earlier, man. So America sits on top of all these nations. And they take policies from America, you know, through that democracy and demonocracy, as we call it. Verse 16, and the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the horse. So eventually America's own allies are going to turn against them, man. So-called European counterparts are going to have enough of America's mess, enough of America's BS, and they're going to burn that place with fire, man. These shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh, and burn her with fire. What fire? ICBMs, the nuclear missiles. That's how they're going to burn America with fire. That's how America's going to end up being burnt to a crisp, to a nuclear crisp, man. And it's all to fulfill the will of Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, as it tells you in verse 17. For the Most High have put it in their hearts to fulfill His will. And this is what it's all about. The Father's will, man. His will be done on earth as it is in heaven. So it says, and to agree and to give the kingdom unto the beast, unto the words of the Most High shall be fulfilled. And the woman with that which thou sawest is that great city who? Babylon the Great, aka America, aka Rome 2.0, which reigneth over the kings of the earth. So this proves, you know, without a blatant fact, without a fact, Slakia, that America is Rome 2.0 all over again, man. So anyone want to close out with that, give all praises and glory to Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai Bahashem B'Chakodash. Hopefully brothers was edified. Till next time, I say shalom.